All right, guys, we have the Cyelee Bull. We got it zeroed here at 75 feet on this NRA B8 target. I'm gonna shoot a 10-round grouping showing that it is zeroed right now, and then we're gonna go straight to a torture test and then another 10-round grouping to see if it holds zero. All right, we'll see how it did. This Cyelee Bull is on the arc reactor Glock 17. Yeah. So everything's in the 10, 2 in the 9 out here. I would say that's zeroed. I probably threw those. And then, yeah, I would say it is pretty zeroed right now. Let's go ahead and get this thing torture tested. All right, guys, we're gonna drop this on its head. This is cleared, by the way. Clear. I stand at 5'8". We're gonna do probably shoulder width height drop onto some concrete. Here we go. The dot's still good. You can see it took a little gash out there. That gash was from earlier when I just threw the gun kind of like this. Do it again. That kind of hit the gun more so than the slide, but there you go. The arc reactor's holding up. We got a gash on the arc reactor a little bit, but pretty, the dot's still there, hasn't burst or anything yet. That's good. It's pretty dented and gashed up here. Yeah, we'll do some other things. All right, guys, we got my buddy Jade here again on the Cyelee Bull. This gun is cleared, by the way, once again. Jade, how tall are you?
Just a little over 6 foot.
6 foot, all right. You can drop it from your head height or wherever you want to drop it from. Try to land it on the optic.
This is gonna hurt my soul.
And then we'll give it a couple more.
All right.
We've dropped this a good amount of times now, guys. I showed Jade I was dropping it without off camera anyways, and he was like, that hurts my soul. And I was like, well, you're going to be dropping it next. Beautiful.
Jeez. Man, there's no way.
The dot still alive?
Yeah.
It's not bursted yet?
No, glass is still clean, still clear.
All right. Next up, we have nail, wood, hammer, makeshift hammer. I'll try to do the first one, and I'll let Jade do the next one. Hopefully this wood's not too hard, but we'll see. Just get it started. Oh shit, it came out. This might be a little harder to do than the that other optic, the Pandora, just because of the shape of this, but we'll see. And this might be this might not be feasible to do, you guys. The nail itself is bending. Well, I'll hit the wood. Which I'm pretty sure that's a lot harder than me dropping it. Still alive. Jade, if you want to attempt to do a better nail job than I did, you're more than welcome to.
I could definitely try, man. I don't know.
And you put your foot on the end of that. Yeah, put your foot right there.
Gotcha. All right. looks like it's going off to the left a little bit, but dude,
Well.
it's still clean, man. I don't know how.
I think it might have just been the angle you're looking at it through.
That could
Because it looks pretty good to me. We can see the damage that's done. It's pretty scratched up there. One of my buddies that I showed this to, his concerns was if I were to drop it and something were to hit this metal area, because the outside is pretty reinforced. That's why I wanted to hammer in the nail, and as you can see, Jay did a good job with hitting that centered area. As far as I can tell, it's still good. Obviously, we don't know if it held 0 yet until we shoot it, but we'll see. Broke a piece of the wood. Yeah. We'll see. And even the scuffing that does happen, once you wipe it off, it doesn't look as bad. Obviously, stuff still's chipped up. It's still dinged up a little bit, but it's honestly held up a lot better than I thought it would. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for having me, man. Got hurt a little bit, but I'm glad the optic's okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it holds 0 or not. All right, guys, we got a clean target. It's the same target. I just taped it up this time. We're gonna do another 10-round grouping. This is pretty beat up now. Moment of truth to see if it held 0 or not. All right, I think I pulled one of them. One of them fell off to me, but we'll see how the rest of them do. Oh no! They're all down here. So we didn't hold 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 down here.
Some up here.
Oh no, that's from the clips right here.
Oh.
That's from the clips, yeah. So it's pretty low. So unfortunately, guys, Cyelee Bull did not hold 0. I could try sending it one more time, but I'm like 99% confident I wouldn't be that far off myself personally. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It didn't break, I will say that. It didn't break. Next analysis, I'm gonna see if I can at least, as long as I can adjust 0 back up here and then get it zeroed, I'll be happy with that. It's a competition optic, not a duty optic. So I'm gonna try to get it re-zeroed up here, and then hopefully it's not broken internally to where I can't re-zero it. Okay, so my adjustment is definitely maxed out. Cannot go any higher. So that's are you recording? So that's a design flaw. Their adjustment knob, I don't know if all optics are like this. I've never maxed out an actual adjustment before, but it works kind of like a threaded screw. And as you get deeper in the thread, eventually you'll hit a wall that you cannot make any more adjustments. I maxed out for as high as I can go. I was only shooting at 7 yards, 21 feet right there. But typically I know if I'm aiming here and I just hit like half an inch below. I'm pretty close to being zeroed at 75. But yeah, we'll send it out. These three are, I was aiming up here. It's a little lower than definitely a lot lower than I would like it to be hitting. We're gonna put it at like 45 feet. 45 feet, 15 yards. We'll aim in the center of that ring, and we're probably gonna be hitting pretty low. Yeah, we are hitting a little low. That was me pulling, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4 down here, and that's aiming here, hitting down here at 45. So as we increase distance, which makes sense, we were at 75, it was hitting way down here. So yeah, this optic officially broken. I'll reach out to Cyelee, see if they'll send me a new one or not. Yeah, does not withhold a torture test. I do think it's a pretty great optic if you're using it purely for competition.
Alright guys, some quick pros and cons of the Cyelee Bull. You have that huge optic window. It makes picking up the red dot super easy for faster follow-up shots or just your initial draw shot, anything like that. Just a big window makes picking up the red dot easy. You get 50,000 hours of battery life. You have 10 total brightness settings, 8 daytime settings, 2 night vision settings. It has brightness adjustment buttons on the side that are very easy to use, just an up arrow and a down arrow, so pretty self-explanatory there. It has a side mounted battery, so you don't have to take the optic off like with the RMR when changing out the batteries and then re-zeroing the optic. It comes in at a very affordable $249.99, so $250, and then discount code ACETACB15 will save you an additional 15%. It runs on the RMR footprint, so very common optic footprint, probably the most common optic footprint out there. Moving on to some of the cons. It is, giving the size of it, it is a kind of heavier optic, probably the heaviest handgun optic on the market right now, coming in at 2.4 ounces. So it is the heaviest, but it's nothing drastic compared to like the Aimpoint Acro P1 that comes in at about, I want to say 2.2 ounces. And I believe the lead and steel Pandora is 2.2 or 2.3 ounces. One of my biggest complaints about this optic, however, is the elevation and windage adjustment knobs. They do not have a very positive click to them when you're making adjustments, which is something I really like in a optic in general, whether it's a handgun optic, a scope, red dot, whatever. I like having a positive click when I'm making adjustments, so I know exactly how many adjustments I've made. But this one, it's very, I don't know, I guess mushy, for lack of better words. You just turn it and it turns, and then you hope that it made the amount of adjustments that you wanted in your head. Again, that's my biggest complaint. Other than that, I think the Cyelee Bull is a great optic, especially if you want to use it for competition. I wouldn't say due to usage just because of the size of this thing. It's pretty ridiculous. I don't think you're going to find a holster that can enclose the optic along with the gun. Unless you do like some DIY work and then, you know, take a heat gun to an optic and do some DIY things. But an actual manufacturer making a holster that's going to fit this thing, I don't know, you're going to have a pretty hard time finding that. So that's all I got for you guys, some quick pros and cons.
Is also
What do you think of that optic? You were the one that recommended that to me.
Yeah, so I'm not normally a person to kind of go for cheaper optics kind of stuff. I'm normally a person to buy once, try once. If it works, I trust it, and I've worked with it for many years. This was probably one of the cheaper optics that kind of caught my eyes in the market. The reason being is it does have a gigantic window, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but it does look kind of huge.
Yeah, the window's huge.
First time actually shooting with it today. It was super easy to track the dot the entire time. It just kind of just stays there. If you guys like the SROs or Delta points, but you know, maybe are choosing to use it for competition use for a longer time, I would probably go with the Cyelee. So far, it runs pretty well. I mean, it's gigantic window. It is. You can track a target, you can track your sights. I didn't lose it any point in time. Other than that, yeah, I would say for the price point too, I'd get it.
It is a huge window. I agree with that sentiment about competition shooting. Just that huge window.
There are some gripes I have about the optic, which I'll mention later. But do you have anything to add about the optic, Jade?
It was just unique. I don't think I've ever like shot a handgun optic with such a big window before. And at first I thought it was pretty goofy just looking at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it's kind of looked like a mailbox. But after I actually looked down the site, I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Like I said earlier, it's like just a big ass version of the SRO.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't say I dislike this optic. There's definitely some complaints I have, but overall for the price point, I can't really complain about this. I think it's what, $250, something like that.
Yeah, $250, and then even in that range too. I mean, yeah, sure, you could get Holosuns, you could get all the other brands and stuff like that that are out there nowadays. But as far as kind of what's out there in the market that has this big of a window size that's not copying anyone, probably Cyelee is the only one that does it. One thing I did notice about this too is normally with cheaper optics, I kind of have this weird like lens flare. Holosuns especially, I start to see a false dot.
Yeah.
With this, I did not see any of that, or like I guess how do you say, a false dot or anything. I did notice a small tint to it, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of a blue tint. I'm glad you mentioned Holosun, because this is, even Holosuns are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And I feel like the price point at which Cyelee offers, that's like what Holosun was once.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is kind of like the new up and coming Holosun.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. I mean, even like Vortex Optics and all them guys too, they all started off somewhere small. They had production run issues at the first, and then they are what they are today, where they're knocking out, killing it.
Guys, we just got done torture testing this. It did not hold zero. I will say I was pretty freaking hard on this optic. I was harder on this than I was the lead and steel Pandora. When I was speaking with the company, Cyelee Optics, they told me I could generally do anything. And it shouldn't break, and if it does, there's lifetime warranty. So I did go pretty hard with this, pretty unrealistic, I will say. As you can see in the wood, this is not soft wood by any means either. This is pretty hard wood. We had to hit these nails pretty hard to get them in. And as you could see, when I was just hitting, because I ran out of nails, I was just hitting the wood, I had pretty deep gashes. These right here, these like waffle pattern, this was just Ryder, the camera guy, when he was hitting this with just a hammer. That's the indentation it made when you're hitting it with the force a reasonable person would hit with a hammer. And then as you can see, I was going pretty hard. I was hitting this pretty much as hard as I could with the gun, and it indented pretty crazy. Yeah, I did end up maxing out the elevation knob, so I cannot zero it. I cannot make any more elevation adjustments, so this optic cannot get zeroed. So although the integrity of the optic itself held up, it is broken in the sense that I can't get it zeroed. So yeah, not zeroed. Did not withstand the torture test. I would still absolutely recommend this, not for duty optic, but for a competition optic, just because that window is so huge. There's nothing like this on the market, and the price you're paying for, pretty hard to beat. So I would recommend it for a competition optic if you're looking for one. The only con, I will say, hard to find a holster. That's the only con. Hard to find a holster, and then if you were to drop this a bunch of times, like 20 times, maybe it won't hold zero. Honestly, I don't even know if the drop is, I don't think the drop is what made it lose zero. I think it's this part where I was just beating into the wood with this thing. So I think if you were to drop it a couple times, it'd probably be fine. Once again, I will say I was a lot harder on this than I was the lead and steel Pandora. I do recommend this for competition, not for duty usage. If you are interested in this optic, CyeleeOptics.com, I think we'll include the link in the description below. And then the discount code is ACETACB15. I'll be reaching out to Cyelee, see if they'll send me a new one. If not, I'll keep you guys updated. Overall impressions, I think this is going to make a great competition optic. It has that huge window. It's pretty ridiculous. It's very easy to pick up that optic. You have a very wide field of view. If I hold it right here, it's pretty centered.
I can go as far right as about right there, and then as far left as about right there. So a lot of lateral range, and then vertical range is a lot as well. I can go about that far up and that far down. So I have a lot of both vertical and lateral range before the red dot loses out of my field of view. So I think this is a great optic for competition use. That huge window, this is by far the biggest window of any handgun optic on the market. This gun is cleared, by the way, but as you can see, huge window. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. There's a discount code that they provided for me. So full disclosure, Cyelee Optics, they did send me this optic. They provided a discount code for you guys to use. It'll save you 15%. I don't get any of that money. If you guys use the discount code or not, doesn't affect me at all. I don't get any of that money. Versus like the Hanley Leather Works discount code or leisure carry belt discount code. When you guys use that discount code, I do get like $5. This discount code is purely for you guys if you want to pick one of these up. Ace TAC B15. I'll write it in the description below. It'll save you 15%. Also the link to this optic in the description below. So yeah, overall, inexpensive optic. I was happy with it. So I did kind of break the optic. It was unrealistic torture test. I did reach out to Cyelee. They are sending me a new one under their warranty. Like they say, they offer a lifetime warranty, and that transfers whether you are the original buyer or the third-party buyer. Doesn't matter if you have their product and it breaks on you, they will warranty it. I reach out to them, so they are holding good on their warranty. They are super easy to reach out to, super great company to work with. I would absolutely recommend them as an optics manufacturer company. I would not necessarily recommend the Cyelee Bull for a duty optic. Definitely a competition optic. Cyelee Optics, I think they're a good company. I think they're good to go. The Bull, I think, is a great competition optic, maybe not duty. That's all I got for you guys. Thanks for checking it out.